Thank y'all for tuning back in to your favorite channel. It's your boy Pelican Bay K9's giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased. Some brothers gonna like it, some ain't. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Big shout out and big salute to all my brothers down in the chat, all my sisters down in the chat, everybody watching the video from afar. Got y'all a very, very special guest today. And big salute. I always got to say big salute to all the dog lovers from around the world, from one side of the world to the other side of the world, from the top of the United States all the way to the bottom of South America. Big salute to all the dog lovers. I got a very special guest in the house tonight, Iron Sharp K9s. What's going on, my brother?
What's good? So you didn't shout out Canada. You said United States down to South America. What about Canada? They some dog people up there too.
Big salute to the whole Canada, man. Big salute. Hey, don't beat me up when I come up there, man. Big salute to all my folks in Canada. To be down in the chat and that be commenting and to be watching the video from afar, man. All the dog lovers,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, brother. How you been
doing
today,
morning,
man? I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good, bro. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. Just trying to get better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dealing with these dogs, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, now I want to give you your flowers, man. First thing I want to do, give you your flowers, you and your partners, for the contributions y'all be putting into the dog game, man, and the positivity y'all be putting into the dog game and showing brothers, just different sides of all breeds of dogs, like I was saying before, So I want to give y'all brothers your flowers. I seen it was a couple more guys that be working with you and stuff. So I know it's a lot of work in them dogs, man. There's a lot of work in them dogs, and a lot of people underestimate the work that it takes to put into them dogs. So I want to give y'all brothers y'all flowers, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, but it's like, what else will we do for the next 20 years?
Yes, sir. Now, let me ask you, man. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started off with dog training?
All right, so when I was in college, I actually spent about $350 on this really nice pit bull, like big old head. He was gonna be a monster. And he actually ended up running out of my front door, and I didn't know about a recall. I didn't know about any commands, so I was chasing him, and he thought it was a game. He ended up not making it. He went into the street, and the car did not stop for him. So I ended up losing my dog. So the next dog I got, which ended up being Rocco, I was like, man, I got to do some training just because, I never want to lose a dog again. And like nowadays, I couldn't even imagine a dog running out in the street that I can't recall them, because there's so many ways that I could stop them or get them to come back. Yeah. But then I just was green. I had no experience. And then I just fell in love with it because it reminded me so much of sports. You got to compete, you got to work, you got to be consistent, you got to have the routine. So it was a really good outlet for me because I had torn my meniscus and I couldn't physically compete the way I wanted to. But this dog could.
So before we get deep into that dog talk, I want to ask you this too. I heard you on one of your videos saying, so the dog you speaking about that got hit by the car, would that be the Kush dog? Because I was hearing you speaking about him on one of your videos I was checking out, and you were saying that was like one of your first dogs before Rocco.
Yeah,
so
it was
that's
Kush.
One that got hit.
Yeah, he was just a good dog. We hung out, played video games together. He slept on the couch. Like, we just hung out. But again, no commands were given ever.
Dang. That's what's up. Now I said before we get into this dog talk, man, I want to ask you something. Now, you ever been in the service?
No, my dad was military though.
Man, what made you do this, bro? There's no way I could have did that.
Hey, that was actually the second time we did it.
Oh man.
That is I mean, believe it or not, that's the most peaceful experience you'll ever. Like, it's so quiet. Well, not this part, but when you pull the parachute, it is so quiet. It's so peaceful up there. Oh man, that was in Florida. time I had my mouth open and I couldn't breathe. I was like, nope, not doing that again. I mean, to definitely answer your question is I'm an adrenaline junkie.
What do you say, brother?
I said I'm an adrenaline junkie. So it's the same
Yeah.
reason why we get in that bite suit and work them dogs. It's just it gets the blood flowing.
Yes, sir. That adrenaline be flowing when you get in that bite suit now, but I ain't gonna lie, it take a little bit more adrenaline to jump out that plane. Hey, I take some bites from the dogs. Then the hardest one I ever took a bite from was a Crescent Canary. But jumping out that plane, I'm quite sure, boy, that's a rush of a lifetime right there, man.
Man, that was the second time we actually did that too.
Now,
Yeah, I'll probably go again. I'll probably go a third time.
yeah. Hey, if you enjoy it, man, that's the thing to do. I'm quite sure it's mine. It frees your mind up, you know. Now let me ask you this, brother. You know, when I asked you to do this interview, I was looking at your videos and stuff, and I was just admiring your training and different things. And you know, I say I had needed to talk to this brother because he could bring a lot of insight to the dog game that we be in. Because a lot of the brothers that I speak to most of the time be dealing with pit bulls. I deal with brothers with all breeds, but you know, and I train myself. I train all breeds. I own Malawi's and pit bulls. But most of the brothers I speak to, they know they own pit bulls. But one thing I just figured out something, man. You know, the Lord work in mysterious ways sometimes, you know, and I'm gonna call this interview a blessing to me, you know, because simple fact, brother, I've been trying to get, I knew you from somewhere, but I didn't know where I knew you from. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know you personally. You know what I'm saying? I know you from America's Top Dog, brother. You know what I'm saying? And when I seen that after I asked you about the interview, I say, this is a blessing because, bro, I've been trying to get in touch with Big Fish Entertainment, I've been trying to get in touch with anybody that could tell me how to get on the show. You know, because I had a dog that I wanted to try with her. And man, I've been trying to about for the last 4 years, brother. And I'm talking about to the point where I figure they stopped recording and they stopped making it. I haven't been seeing a new episodes. So you know, how did you get involved with that?
My name is Stan Smith II. I'm a pharmacy tech by day, and when I'm not at the hospital, I'm working some dogs. And this here's my right-hand man, Rocco the Don. He's always an underdog because he's a pit. Pit bulls often get a bad rep about being aggressive or uncontrollable. That's just not the truth about them.
Facebook. So we're just posting a lot of videos with Rocco, just having some fun. And they had like a flyer up. It was like the ultimate dog obstacle course or something. And somebody tagged me in it. And they was like, bro, you should try it, man. I was like, man, I'm gonna submit. And I actually forgot about it, you know, filled out all the information, sent the videos, and then I get a call from them. And I think her name was Lindsay. She was like, this is Lindsay from Big Fish. Do you have a second to talk? And I'm like, who? And she was like, oh, we're doing America's Top Dog. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely have a minute to talk. Then we did a couple of interviews. We did a Skype or a Zoom call with them, and they were like, "When can you come out to Cali?" So it was a pretty smooth process. I think they said there was like 16,000 dogs that they auditioned for that first season, or that submitted for the application, and they like this $100 dog that I got right here.
That's Rocco.
Yeah, man.
How old is he now?
He's 10. He'll be 11 in February, so he still look good though.
Let me show them boys a little video I got up here of him.
That was Herculean, bro. Rocco said, I ain't 2 years old no more. Double clutch like them knees. Went in there and drank some more water. Yeah, that's me. That's perfect, but let's finish telling this story over here, man. You got one more? Give me one more. Give me one more pull.
How long did it take you to get Rocco to the point of satisfaction, bro?
I mean, I don't think I'm still ever satisfied, but to the point where I knew he would do anything for me, it was probably about, we trained for about almost 3 years before America's Top Dog. And then at that point, I knew he would do anything for me if I was, especially if I was going through it. So like, he hates water, but you saw on the episode, like he went right into the water with me. He
Yeah.
was like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So I think it was probably about 2 to 3 years before I'm like, yeah, he's him. But even before we started training, like I would just put stuff in trees and he'd jump up there and climb a tree. He would try anything for me. He always was very athletic. So I think he had it in him and he actually helped me become a better trainer.
Mm,
Come
that's
on,
what's
man, you
up.
can't be moving the camera. He's over here trying to move the camera right now.
Now, when it comes to that pulling and the more physical activities, the pit bulls, they excel in them great. How high was your confidence when you got to the boneyard? You know it was gonna go off the scent work now.
Stan trained Rocco to detect narcotics, so that's the scent of the 5 items he's looking for.
There was no confidence. I was hoping to get one.
Yeah.
The drug detection at the time just wasn't something that we did a lot of. Like he
Yeah.
knew the odors and he could go through like the box scenario, but actually having to go search and me actually reading him, like we had no experience on that. So I
Yeah.
was definitely out of my element on that part. And you could see in the video, I'm just kind of walking around like, all right, let's do something. And yeah, nah.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you like this, dog. You made so many pit bull owners proud across America, dog. Because we normally seeing all them other dogs up there, and you was the first time a lot of people seen, that type of dog come up there and work like that. So big salute to you again, fam, on that situation. Now, when it comes to training dogs with bite work and that type of stuff, a lot of people have different opinions, fam. And what do you think about the people that says pit bulls shouldn't be used for bite work?
I mean, I obviously don't agree with them because the dog can do it, but we also have to go with like what type of pit bull. I mean, are we talking about super game bred that really don't have the man aggression where you have to bring it out in more of a negative way? Or are you talking about the pits that have just a lot of drive and want to do something and actually need that outlet? So, I mean, I think it's how you train the dog as well. And training a pit bull is a lot different from a Malinois and a German Shepherd. You can bounce around twice with them and they're about to go do everything that they want. The
Yeah.
pit bulls are independent thinkers, so you have to motivate them to even want to do this. Because we had one time we had a dog, I had Juice, and he was more game bred than he cared about bite work. And I think one of the cats, we were doing a sin and one of the cats took off and he was like, man or cat, I'm going after the cat. So it's like those genetics are so strong. He's like, man, I'm supposed to be going after prey. I'm only doing this because he wants me to. So
That was going to be one of my questions. Exactly what you just said just now. How can I train my dog for dog aggression? If I'm working and then we got them kind of dogs that's built on dog aggression, what is it going to be something that you really don't want to deal with, or?
man, that's one of those hard ones because it's like in their blood. So like I personally have never with Juice, I never had him, dog aggressive. He was been around my dogs, he's been around my kids, all of that. And then a lot of the old pit bull guys I was talking to, they were like, hey, be careful with that. I know what you do with these dogs, but these dogs are a little different. And I was like, nah, he'll be okay if I don't ever. And then one day he just turned on and he jumped on I got a dog named Jax, and I actually wasn't home. My wife was here, and she was letting him out, and he spun out of the collar, ran right in the crate, jumped on him, and she said she had to beat him with a broom. She threw some water on him. She said the only way she got him off, she basically used the brake stick, stuck the broom handle in his mouth. He came off for a half a second. Jax ran off. She was able to grab him, but it's like he never was exposed to any of that. But one day he just was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. So then at that point, I couldn't even feed him in a crate next to another dog because he's barking and growling and trying to eat through the crate to get the dog. So then he had to be put in a separate room. And so it was this whole process. So I don't know if you could ever really get it out of the dog. You can probably just manage it. But if the dog has an opportunity, I think they might take it.
For your professional logos, signs, or designs, you've came to the right place. Get customized brands for your business by contacting Michael Smith on Facebook. Michael specializes in creating the highest quality images for t-shirt printing, business cards, posters, and banners. Once again, contact Michael Smith on Instagram and Facebook for your business needs.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And that's the one thing I was always wondering, man, how do brothers handle that situation? Now, when it comes to, like picking out your puppies, how do you go about picking out a good puppy, a good quality puppy
So
for
the
that
first
for that working, work that you're gonna do?
So the first thing I look for is confidence. I'll take like a bottle or a can with some BBs in it and I'll just drop it. And I just want to see what all of the puppies do. And I
Yeah,
don't necessarily want the dog that's going to run over there like 100 miles an hour and just attack it like without thinking, because I don't need a crash dummy. That's not what I'm looking for. I want a dog who's like, oh, there was a noise. It ain't got nothing to do with me, and kind of low key ignore it, because they're going to be more neutral and more clear headed. And
mhm,
then the next thing I'm going to look for is, do they have any amount of drive? So I'll take a burlap sack or a toy or something and rip it around, see if they start chasing it. And then I like to see how they engage with me. I want a dog who likes me. So I'll just sit down and one dog will come over. I'll be like, hey, what up? Boom, boom, boom. And if that dog already passed those other characteristics, that's more than likely going to be the dog that I'm going to go with. And then the last thing that I look for is going to be a good looking dog. Um, One of the guys I learned from, he was like, hey, Stan, you're going to tolerate more from a good looking dog than an ugly dog. So if you like
yeah,
looking at them, you're going to allow them to make a little more mistakes than if it's an
yeah,
ugly some bitch. You're like, oh, you
yeah,
ugly dog, man, you better sit the
yeah,
first time. But, the pretty boys, you'd be like, all right, that was 75%. It's all right.
yeah. Hmm. You're right about that. Now, say when it comes to pit bulls, you know, the ideal pit bull, would you want one to have that human aggression in them already? Or most pit bulls, when you say talking about the game, they're not really human aggressive.
Mhm.
So is it something that is it better to be born with the human aggression if I'm using it for protection work, or is it better for me to try to bring it out of them, like you said, in a negative way?
So I personally don't want my dogs to be aggressive. I want them to be confident in what they're doing. But if they are in an aggressive mind state, that's more out of fear. So if they're put in a stressful situation, I mean, the pits aren't going to quit. But if you put too much aggression on them, they may get to the point where they're not thinking clearly and they're more reactive at that point. I want
Yeah,
a dog that's going to work for me. So my dog can go from, Rocco, he can go from getting a belly rub. But if I say one word, he's like, well, I know you just was rubbing my belly, but daddy told me I got to do this. So I'm
mhm,
sorry.
yeah,
So I don't want an aggressive dog. And I got kids and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I need more of a clear headed dog just for that. But like you said, a real game bred dog was, if they came up on a human in the pit, they didn't make it out, no matter how good they were, because now at that point, it's not safe for anybody in there. And you want to
yeah,
make sure they're paying attention to everything that they're supposed to in that particular job.
yeah,
So it's in them to not, and you have to motivate them to bring it out. But the dogs that I've seen work the best have done it because they enjoy doing it.
yeah,
So T'Challa, Dewan Fields, he has a really nice pit, a leg dog, and he does French ring and Mondio with him. And that dog, he's on. He bites hard. He has the obedience, but he also has taken the time to show that dog, hey, you don't have to be aggressive in this situation. All you got to do is go and bite hard and win. And then you just build the dog's confidence up in that way.
Is there a top pit bull in that, like the IPO and what different stuff out there
I
across
mean,
the country?
not that I personally know of. I kind of stay out of the politics of the dog world. So, but I mean, T'Challa's probably one of the better ones that I've seen.
Yeah,
And then there was a couple more on America's Top Dog that were pretty, good, decent dogs and stuff like that. And then you always got to know that there's somebody who has a damn good dog that ain't on social media and nobody knows about them.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's some good ones. I've seen some videos online, some good working dogs, but again, you can only see the highlights that people are posting. It's not like they're posting raw footage of their training sessions and, live streaming how it
yeah,
actually looks. They're hyping it up, speeding the dog up, all of these different things to make their dog look better. And in my mind, it's like, why would you do all of that? Because if somebody actually sees that dog in person and they're not as fast as they look in those videos, you're gonna
yeah,
look dumb. You're not gonna
yeah.
look, you're gonna embarrass yourself. So it's like,
Mhm.
man, just tell the truth. Like, I've never sped up a video of Rocco doing anything. He just learned that fast is what I wanted him to do. I've never edited a video to make him look better, anything like that. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, there's some things that we're not gonna post if you're choking out a dog and stuff like that, just because it's gonna get viewed the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
and the media and everybody else will run with that so much. But I think a lot more people in the dog world need to tell the truth, because I think they set unrealistic expectations for people getting in, and they're expecting, oh, my dog's not perfect in 2 sessions. It's like, damn, like you don't realize it took 2 years to get where you're trying to get in 2 sessions,
Yeah.
and you don't even have a dog that has the potential to do it, and you're starting after the 8 ball, and you don't put any amount of time at home. And I mean, there's just so many characteristics that
Yeah.
people don't realize that they got to do to actually get a good dog. Nowadays, everybody just throws an e-collar on their dog and expects them, thinks that's a trained dog. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, at that point, when they have the collar on, they're probably perfect. But what is that dog going to do when they don't have that collar on? If you
Yeah.
don't have all of the training equipment on, I think about worst case scenario. Again, my dog ran out the front door. If he had a leash on, if he had his e-collar on, yeah, I would have been prepared for it. But when we're chilling at home, I'm not going to have all that on my dog.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
You're right about that.
so yeah, there
Now,
needs to be more truth. There needs to be way more truth in the dog world.
yeah, that's 100% true. Way more true. A lot of brothers when in that dog world, man, a lie just feels better to some brothers, man. That's the way I see how it is.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this: when it comes to calling your dog out and giving him the out command, and I'm giving you some of these statements coming from the pit bull community that's screaming, don't train these dogs to attack. I'm training my dog to do whatever I want him to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm training him all the way around. Do tricks, do protection, do whatever. Work, snip, scent work, whatever. But you have people who have them opinions. Now, some folks say when the pit bull get to a certain extent, you can't call them out. What do you got to say about that?
I mean,
Like
the out is
when
the
they
out
black
is one more time.
like if they get to a point where they black out and you send them at somebody or something, or you can't call them back off of them.
The out command is an obedience command at the end of the day, and if you don't work on it when they are in a calm state of mind, they're never going to learn it. And a lot
Yeah.
of people only try to teach the outs when the dog is in protection training or biting on a man that just built his drive up super high, and now you're asking him to
Mhm.
out and he doesn't even know what it means. So
Yeah.
yeah, a dog can black out, especially if they don't know what it means. But if you have a line of communication with your dog, like, they're going to come off, because the dog
Yeah.
should want to be with you more than anything else they're doing. So like in the like Dewan's T'Challa, he has a whistle recall. That dog can be in mid bite and he blows the whistle, and that dog's like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. So
Mm.
it's like, if you teach the out, I don't think your dog's going to get to that point. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like anybody. We can black out, if we're getting in a
Mhm.
stressful situation and we don't hear nothing else. So it's like, you always have to know that that is a possibility. But if you can do things to prevent it from being a possibility, that's going to be on you.
Yeah. Now, how many times you done got bit since you start training?
I don't even know if I got
Can't
enough
even count
fingers.
them no more, huh?
But we were talking the other day. I actually been bit from my foot up to my head in every body part. So foot, calf, thigh. A dog tried to take my manhood the other day. I've been bit in the stomach, bicep, forearm, hands, face, forehead. Like,
You ever had to go to the hospital for any of it?
I went for two. No, I went for one. My hand. Um, I was going to smack a dog in some protection work, and I didn't have a stick or nothing. And I was honestly being lazy. I'm like, man, I could walk 5 feet to go get the stick, but now I'm just gonna see if I can get away with it. And she was waiting, and
Mm.
she turned and said, "Gotcha," and put one right through my hand. And like, normally, like, I'll finish the training session, because I mean, it's not the dog's fault that I got bit. But
Yeah.
this one here, I looked at my hand, I said, "Ooh." I ran over to the water hose, was spraying it for about 5 minutes. It didn't stop bleeding. We wrapped it up. And I'm like, man, this one hurts. So we unwrapped it again, and it was still bleeding. About an hour later, my homeboy was like, "Hey, bro, get in the car. I'm gonna take you to the hospital." So, and it literally didn't stop bleeding until the doctor stitched it up, because I guess it like hit an artery or something, and it
Yeah.
was just gonna keep on bleeding. I was like, man, ain't that about a So
Dang.
that's the only one I went to the hospital like officially on. But I used to work at the hospital, so I had a dog try to take my thumb off one time,
Mm.
and I didn't stitch it up or anything. But the doctor who did the dog bites, he was like, "Hey, you might want to stitch that up. That's a bad one there." And I'm like, "Oh, you sure? All right."
Dang.
So he just went in there and stitched me up. But I've been lucky to not catch a clean bite. They've all been literally one tooth,
Yeah.
one or two teeth, but never like a full mouth. So,
Hey.
like you said, sometimes you just better to be blessed.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the Creed. He still living?
Creed, nah, man, Creed. So Creed passed about, I think it's been about 3 weeks ago now. Jamil, normal day, took him out, was playing with him, did what he did, put him in the crate. I think he said he went and took a shower, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna let my dog out one more time." And he opened the crate and he wasn't moving. And
Dang.
yeah,
How old was he?
Creed was 3, I believe. So he was young, man. And that's Jamil's first dog. It's like, damn, bro. And that was one of the hardest biting dogs that I've personally ever worked. Like, people hated working that dog.
Mm.
We did some stuff with this YouTuber named Preston, and we had Rocco and Creed the very first time. They called us back out there again. So we was like, "Hey, what do you want?" Creed, they were like, "No, no, no. Creed bites too hard." And they showed us a picture. He was purple for like, he said, like a week and a half.
Dang.
So he was like, "Nah, that dog bites way too hard." And at the same time, when Jamil told him out, he was back and going home. I can have that dog pinned up against a wall, grabbing his tail, and as soon as Jamil says out, he's pulling off the bite and going right back there because he wants to be with his handler.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's a unfortunate situation. And he did an autopsy and stuff on him. They didn't find anything, so he's like,
Just
you
died.
know, pretty much. So it's like, man, but Jamil did everything for that dog that he could. Every year or every day he was working them. He ate good. They spent a lot of time together. So it's like you can't ask for a better life.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that dog. I seen him on a couple of y'all videos, how y'all had him out there jumping across the little creeks and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was right. No, I ain't gonna lie. You had him up there. I seen one video when you had the bulldog on the bungee cord and he was jumping up. The shepherd was jumping up. I call him a shepherd, but I know, was it Dutch or Mal?
He was actually a German Shepherd. Well, he
Okay.
was actually a German Shepherd officially, but I think he had a little bit of mal in him.
Okay. Yeah, I seen him up there jumping up there, hanging on the tug toy and stuff like that. I said, yeah, he right.
Yeah, I think he got 11 feet. So I was
Mm.
like, dang.
So what's the best advice you ever received from anybody about the dog since you got into dogs? Whether they was knowledgeable or whether they was a seasoned dog man. Sometimes we might get some good advice from somebody who don't even know about dogs, and it might be something that we could take with us.
Yeah, I think probably the best advice was trusting my dog. So when we started working with Rocco, like when I was me, like he was perfect. But when I tried to change my training styles to be like, say for instance, the Danish military guys where they're very militant, it has to be this way. And that was never Rocco and I. And I would always try to make him be something he's not. And then I would second guess him. And then people were like, "Stan, you put in the work. Why are you not trusting your dog? You have to trust your dog. If your dog realizes that you don't trust them." And I'm like, "Man, that ain't true." And then like, "Nah, like," and it doesn't make sense until that expression really makes sense. So even on America's Top Dog, I was nervous. He was nervous. He was trying to bite the cameraman at the very beginning. I don't know if you remember that. And I'm like, "Come on, bro, calm down. I said you were a good dog. Like, you can't be going to bite nobody right
Yeah,
now. That's not that part." And he goes off and I just was like, "No." And after that, I was like, "Man, I'm just gonna trust Rocco's gonna be Rocco." And then he did everything else for me.
yeah,
And ever since then, it's like if you put in the work, if you put in the time when nobody's watching, when the lights are on, your dog's gonna perform for you. And if
yeah,
you're hesitant and if you doubt that, they're gonna make you right. And it's I think that's some of the best advice. You just gotta trust your dog. And at that point, you gotta trust yourself
yeah,
because a dog is a reflection of you. And if you're doubting that they can do something, it means that you didn't put in enough time to show them that they could.
mm,
Because I'm not doubting that I can drive a car. I can drive a standard. I can drive an automatic because I know how to drive a car. So if I doubt myself that I can't drive the car, yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to do it.
yeah. Now, a lot of people claim that they can train the dog for protection. A lot of people trying to start, what's the biggest mistake you see that brothers make when they starting to get into their protection work?
They try to do too much too fast. So they want to expedite the process. They want to make everything like super serious at the very beginning. And I've seen dogs get broken that could have been better dogs, but people just try to rush.
Yeah. Now, what
So it's like, so sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
go
we've
ahead,
had
go ahead.
some dogs like very first session they come out, we crack a whip, that dog's hiding under the car, that dog's pulling the handler back away, and I just tell the people, I'm like, hey, look, come out, we'll build his confidence up, we'll see what we can see at the dog, and I probably shouldn't do this, but like I allow those kind of people to come out, and it's like, hey, if you want to spend the time, like we'll put some reps in, and I'm not going to charge you until I know I can get the dog to actually work. So it's
Yeah.
like I'll do something for free because I'm like, hey, let's see what happens. And one of the baddest dogs that we got right now is he's a mastiff mutt that walked up on these people's property. First time we cracked the whip, he climbed up in her lap. Now this dog, you crack a whip, he looks right through your soul. You can smack him with it. He doesn't even flinch, and he is a gangster now.
What kind of
And
dog is he?
a mastiff mix.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's have you ever seen one of the videos of the dog named Spot?
I don't think so.
If I'll send you one of the videos, but this dog here he is a gangster. And if we would have took the same concept and mindset that everybody else has, oh, the dog didn't do it the very first time out, like he's done, like you got to wash him, like that dog would never be there. And she's not trying to compete with this dog. She goes to like rodeos and stuff like that, so they'll
Mhm.
be in the barns and the back stalls by themselves at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And she wanted a dog that if somebody tried to take her in one of them stalls, he was gonna do what he's gonna do. And that dog there, he just walks. He has these like the bird of prey eyes. So he just looks through your soul. And when she says one word, he hits the end of the leash and spit, and every tooth in his mouth gets shown. So I think she's very protected in that sense. So, and it's the same thing with Boot. When we first started training Boot, my Australian Shepherd, for bite work, like he didn't really, he wasn't taking it serious. He would bite and come off. Like there were some things that it's like, maybe this might not work. But all we
Mhm.
did was had to do stuff outside of bite work. And now he's to the point where Boot's pretty civil. Like
That's
he
the
gonna
white
bite.
dog.
Yeah, my little Aussie.
Yeah, I seen the video with that one.
You ever watch these dogs work? And y'all want to know what a dog will go for? There's some Australian Shepherds and other Shepherds that'll sell for $40,000, $50,000. Why? Because they're a working dog. What does a working dog do? It does work.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think people try to rush too much or do too much too quickly in the bite work. And then it actually ends up messing the dog up. And then you have to go back and try to fix a habit where you could have just, took your time from the very beginning. Like everything we did with Creed, like we never rushed Creed on anything, but he just progressed because, hey, we would do this. He did good on that. We would do the next step, good on that. And then it got to the point, where he's 2 years old, where all right, anything we can do to him now, grabbing skin, feet, tail, blah, 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 making it serious. You can, and there was probably, I think, two people that had ever made him miss, like esquive him. And that was me, was one of them. And I just, worked the dog enough. So, and he got to the point where I couldn't even make him miss. And then this other guy made him miss, but he was tired. So I don't know if it was a fair
Yeah.
example, but yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to build the dog's confidence up, and that doesn't come from beating the shit out of them when they're young. That doesn't come from making it stressful. That comes from making it a joyful experience for the dog. And it's like the boxers who are really good, they enjoy boxing. They're not boxing because they're mad or they're angry. Because when
Yeah.
you're mad and you're angry, you're not thinking anymore. So you're
Mhm.
just reacting at that point. I want my dog to be thinking. And I also think people try to make the dogs into a robot.
Yeah.
So if I send Rocco and you're on top of a car, I don't care if he jumps on the side of the car to get you or the front of the car, the back of the car, as long as he gets up there. Most people be like, he has to go one way. And if it's not that one way, then the dog's wrong. And It's like you take away the dog's ability to think, and then you wonder why that dog doesn't do anything in a situation where they've never been exposed to. It's
Yeah.
like a lot of these, quote unquote protection dogs are more pattern trained than anything. They've seen the scenario 800 times and they know what to do with, even if you're there or not. I'm going to
Yeah.
bite this guy for 5 seconds, then he's going to freeze up. And 2 seconds later, I get out it and I sit here, then he's going to move again. And it's
Hmm.
like, okay, cool. You got that pattern down, but what happens in a situation where you don't know the scenario? And once those dogs start getting to, those higher levels where people don't know the scenarios, those dogs don't perform as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that, brother. You
Because it's
right
like
about that.
even on America's Top Dog, we were probably one of the least experienced people that was on the show. And most people remember our episode. I think on YouTube, I think we have the highest viewed run of it on the A&E website. So it's like, but I trusted my dog and I allowed him to basically be a dog. So when we had to go and pull a ball that's hanging there, I told him to bring. He saw what I wanted him to bring and he did that. When I
Yeah.
wanted him to jump over something, like I told him up. He understands what that means. If I'm pointing at this truck, hey, jump through this. If I'm pointing at these barrels, jump this. If I'm pointing at the wall, he just knew exactly what was expected because we took the time to show him and gave him enough freedom that even if it is a different situation, if I'm asking him to do it, he can do it.
Hmm. And he looked good out there, man. Looking, see, you was in the glass. We was looking at the glass from the outside. You was looking good out there. We couldn't see the nervousness, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, fam. Rocco was looking good. And like I said, man, when I was looking at the show before I had seen you up there, but I've been trying to reach, man, and trying to figure out what you said. You just went on Facebook and did it. So,
Yeah, there was just some link that they had posted. I'm
mhm.
like, hey.
Do you know if they still doing new shows?
So they actually, so right when COVID had happened, they had
Mm.
did season 2 and 3, and we were actually going back for that episode, but there was a COVID exposure, so we weren't able to compete on that.
Oh
But I
yeah.
don't think the season did as good as they thought. They took a lot of they took the police officers out of it because all of the stuff that was going on with the police. So and then they made it really foo-foo. So it went
Mm.
from like the ultimate dog to like, okay, now we're having doodles that are,
Yeah.
are colored and Jack Russells and like all of these dogs. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of those dogs that they allowed on there were only dock diving dogs. And that's like all they cared about. They couldn't
Mm.
do any of the bite work or any of the scent work and stuff. And it's like, man, y'all took the show away from us. And but I'm glad we wasn't on that second season because it didn't do as good. I think they aired both seasons in like a weekend. And
Oh dang.
when they had our episode every week, it was something. We were on ESPN, we were on TMZ. They were really promoting it when we were on there.
Yeah. Now, what would be the ideal weight for a good protection when it comes to pit bulls?
So I mean, when so pit bull is a loosely used term. In my world, a dog over 60 pounds is not a pit bull.
Yeah.
So, now they're having all of these 100-pound pit bulls, and I guess they're technically still pits. But I like personally a smaller dog just because of what I like to do with my dogs. I like to go on runs, hikes, stuff like that, travel, and a large 120, 130-pound dog like that, he's not fitting right here, right now. And even if he is, my leg's going to sleep here in a second. So
Yeah.
I like a dog between about 50 and 60 pounds. I think it's a good weight. It's enough for them to have that man-stopping power if they are, fully committed. But they're also going to be athletic enough that you're pretty much not getting away. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know if you've seen Chief XOTX Bullies, but he's not jumping on a Tahoe. I can get away from him. All I got to do is make it to a car.
Yeah.
Rocco gonna be right up there with you.
Yeah. That's why I say about a lot of them heavier dogs. Like that I see a lot of brothers having across the country, the 100-pound pit bulls, or what they like you say, so-called pit bulls. That dog can't get on top of the car, so it's easy to escape him. Can't jump the fence because he's too big. But when you got a dog Rocco size, you're not too much getting away.
Yeah. And I mean, and those dogs there, if they get a hold of you, I mean, they're gonna do some damage, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you might have a chance. You might have a chance to
yeah,
get away. Or they may gas out. You know, so it's like you got to think about all those things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, what's the main difference that you see in pit bulls and bullies?
I think the bullies are a little less drivey, so like they're more suitable to be a pet. But if you get the right bully, they're still gonna have that amount of drive, but they'll also chill. So like ego get on that pillow and he'd be on there for 45 minutes, but when he's in the house, he may come nudge you, be like, hey, we're going outside. All right, no, we're not, and then he'll just go lay down. So like them pits, they always got to do something. They're like a Malinois.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
bullies are more suitable for, not necessarily first time dog owners, but like more inexperienced handlers. Like if you get a game bred pit, you better know what you're doing, because if not, you gonna have a problem on your hands.
Now, how hard was Juice Man to work? That's the black dog, right?
Mhm.
Let me show these brothers and sisters out here a little bit of action from Juice real quick.
Yep.
There's no volume to it, but
That's a fun one there. I think he's like 6 months at that time.
mm,
And that was the first time you ever seen the pool either. So like he had drive. He wanted to work. So it wasn't very hard.
he had like he loved the water.
Yeah, he's biting. That's all he care about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these dogs were designed to put their mouth on something and basically be there until they couldn't no more. So it's the same concept here. We're just working with the drive that the dog already had, and he enjoys it.
Yeah, that was. He's still living.
Yeah, so he's back with the breeder.
Okay. Okay. Is he like trained all the way out?
Yeah, he had his obedience. He had, the bite work. He could out. He could recall. But he had a mind of his own, and I couldn't give him as much time as he needed.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a dog that I could do a lot with. So like I couldn't take him to events because okay, if this little chihuahua come behind him and I'm not paying attention, he may grab him and now we're gonna be on World Star. Like
Yeah.
it just wasn't worth the risk. But he was a good dog. He was fun. Treadmill, high jumped, sled, wall climb, weight pool. He did a lot of stuff, but he just wasn't suitable for what I wanted to do with my brand right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. You ever titled any dogs out?
Nah, I haven't. I took Juice to a couple of shows and he won. I forget what category it was. One of them open categories, but like all of the titles and the stuff like that, it's more political than it is actually having like a good dog.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some dogs. One of my first shows that I ever went to, protection wise, the dog that didn't out on any exercise won. So I didn't understand how that happened, but it was somebody who was high up in the political side of the sport. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's why he won. So the politics just it takes away the fun and the joy of it. And like, people can hurt a dog and make it look like an accident super easy. And it's like I never wanted to put my dogs in those situations for that reason. Um, like you said, a lot of people saw us on America's Top Dog, and a lot of people didn't think we should have been there, or we
Yeah.
got we were overnight success and all of this stuff. So like a lot of people would try to like poke holes in everything that I did, and it's like I never came out and said I was an expert or the best in the world, da 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 da, like none of that. So you're telling me stuff. I got a lot more to learn.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander.
And I knew that people would put more stress on Rocco to show that he's not that than they would on like even an intro level dog.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got older, it was just like, you know, he's did everything he needed to. We've been on TV. He's been there for me. It's like I know that they're gonna put more stress on him. And I've even let people work him sometimes. And I'm watching how they're working the dog, and I'm like, bro, I ain't never seen you do that to no dog ever. Why are
Yeah.
you doing this to him? And especially the people like, oh, bro, I want to help you get better. Da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's work these dogs. And they come out and they're doing some weird shit. I had a guy kick my dog one time. I'm like, bro, in the scenario, that's fine. But if you tell me to put my dog up, like, why are you turning around and kicking my dog? And
Yeah.
then it's like, well, I just want to see if the dog can take it. I'm like, bro, like you wouldn't do that if he was prepared. You did that. I had him, and he's looking up at me, and you come and kick him, and he's like, "Well, see if he can go back." I'm like, all right. So I alerted Rocco again, and he hit the end of the leash, and he was really trying to get him at that point. But it's like, why? It's like I'm all for it if we're in the game and it's fair. Like, yeah, if Rocco knows it's coming, please get at him. Do what you got to do. But if he's done and we're about to get put up, like that's a late hit at that point.
When you known and people know you, is that something you gotta worry about? People trying to hurt your dog, or decoys trying to hurt your dog?
I think so. I do. Or they're gonna try to do something to embarrass you, or say your dog is not this, so they can
Yeah.
post it or whatever. So
Hmm.
it's like I personally don't really allow a lot of people to work my dogs unless I trust them, just because I've seen them hurt dogs that they actually like, and they
Yeah.
didn't do it on purpose. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't want to put my dog in that situation. Like we've been in a couple of seminars and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, did you bring your dog?" I'm like, "Nope, sure did not. I just coming up here to decoy." "Oh man, I wanted to work him." I'm like, "I bet you did," but nah, I'm not gonna do that because I don't know what you're gonna do to my dog, and it's not worth me having an injured dog because your ego. And a lot of times there's a lot of ego in the protection world, instead of just being like, hey, you got a good dog, I got a good dog, you got a good dog. It's like my dog got to be better than yours. It's like, bro, we're not even doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah. I
so I mean,
definitely
it's something
understand
that
that.
I am aware of, and I also tell other people that as well, because I've seen people that were training out with me, and then they go, to another trainer or a seminar, and the people are putting a whole lot of pressure on this dog when it's still a green dog, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're doing that to say, oh, Stan don't know what he's doing, and so it's like I've seen it too many times for it to be even worth me doing or even risking it anymore. So like if I do go to a competition or an event, it's somewhere that I know that, people have at least good intentions. They
Yeah.
don't want you to look bad. Like, yeah, people want to beat me, people want to compete, but they're not trying to hurt my dog for them to win.
Yeah. Yeah. That ain't right, man. That ain't right. Like you said, we all trying to do the same things out here.
Hmm.
And I checked the video that you dropped out, training the Great Dane. Are they good for protection work?
I mean, I think they can. We've had a Great Dane. Her name was Dolores, or the lady's name was Dolores and Apollo. They're big. I mean, they're a large dog, and they have drive. So if you could bring it out of the dog, but like we just talked about earlier, there's going to be limitations on them. And then the main thing with
Mhm.
them is you really got to wait till they're about 2 years old before you could really even start, just
Okay.
because they're still growing so much. But if
And
that
how
dog
about
get
it?
a
I ain't mean to cut you off, bro.
Mhm.
How about the bones? Because they so. My brother had a couple of them, and he one of his died because of a twisted stomach, and the
Mhm.
vet told him that that was common in that dog. And by the time he got to the vet, it was kind of too late, and he went and got another one, and but it just seemed like they had a lot of not necessarily bone problems, but it just they grow so fast or they get so big, and it just you think that'll go far as fighting, come trying to be a rough dog. Can they take it? Can they take being picked up? And well, I mean, average person probably can't pick up a Great Dane.
Yeah,
You
you're
know what
not
I'm saying?
you're
But
not picking up a Great Dane,
yeah,
especially not a
yeah,
full grown. But I
yeah,
mean, no, that is common in them because they do have that big barrel chest, so their stomach flips over their spine, and they can't process it, and you really don't know unless you're paying attention to your dog. That's actually how Apollo died as well. So
uh,
all of those things you do have to pay attention to when you do get those bigger dogs. But like you said, nobody's picking up a Great Dane, but you can teach them, hey, this stick hits to Rocco is enjoyable. He's not taking stick hits as, oh my God, this is painful. He's like, oh, I like this. This means the game is getting better. So
I'm
once
glad you
you,
said that. I'm glad you
yeah,
said that. I ain't mean to cut you off again.
now you good.
The Rocco get out of if I swing a stick, because I hear a lot of trainers say they like the dog that get away from the stick. A lot of trainers like the dog that take the lick. Which one do you think is better for your
I mean,
like?
it depends where we're being judged on. If it's for the sport where the dog has to take it, yeah, I want them to take it. But if somebody's hitting my dog with a bat, I want my dog to be smart enough to like, all right, let me get away from this thing. Like, I want my dog to have that self-preservation at that point because I don't want to lose my dog in the
Yeah,
situation. So if he's trying to get away and he's spinning somebody around, you know what that's going to do? It's going to cause that person to be dizzy, and
Yeah.
that person is probably not going to be able to defend themselves anymore. So now my dog has the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends what we're being judged on. Taking the stick hits, yeah, it shows an amount of confidence for the dog because they're not getting away from the pressure. But at the same time, if the dog's avoiding a stick hit, they're actually smart enough to realize, hey, this isn't something that's good for me. So why am I going to allow it to happen? So for instance, like Boot, he will take the stick hits, but his natural instinct is to not get hit because when they're herding those bulls and the cows and stuff like that, if a bull goes to nudge at him or kick him, he's supposed to go weave because if he gets kicked in the ribs by a 5,000 pound animal or however
Yeah.
much weight they are, he could die. So
Mm-hmm.
you also have to remember all of those things whenever you are working with the dog. What were they genetically bred for at the very beginning? So I like the stick hits. I don't think it's a be all end all because again, in a real situation, I don't want my dog to be taking a bunch of punishment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want my dog to be giving the punishment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the same thing I see, man. Because if one lick can be the end of your dog, it just depends on what the person got in their hand.
Yep.
And the brother, great brother Dogman, he just passed away a little while ago. Old schooler, and he was telling me one time I was supposed to get an interview with him, but I never got one with him. I can't remember what my man name was. Older black fella. He old enough to be my probably my granddaddy. And he died about a year ago, maybe.
Okay.
You got to know who I'm talking about, man. Everybody know him. I can't think of his name, but he was talking to me about the defensive training and stuff like that. And he said he'd rather have a dog that get up out of there, that don't take that lick. But the thing is, if you train a dog, like we were speaking about earlier, if you train a dog for, staying there, wouldn't they always try to stay there? Wouldn't you have to kind of teach them to get up out of there sometime?
So I think the dogs, if they are smart enough, they understand when they are working on a suit versus actually biting a man. It's going to be a lot different. So I think in a real situation that the dog is going to understand a little bit more, and their adrenaline is going to be in it because that person's adrenaline is going to be in it. So it's
Yeah.
going to be more of a heightened state. Even like the pits in the pit, some of them will come off of a bite to get a better bite if it's not working. So
Yeah.
it's like in the moment, even though you've taught them one thing, especially an independent thinker like the pits, I think they will think for themselves. The Malinois, they may be like, nope, I'm supposed to just do this. I'm supposed to do this. And that's why people like them because they are crack-headed dogs where you show them something one time and that's how they're going to do it. So
Mhm.
I also think that it's going to be the breed, how intelligent that dog is.
So you a pit bull man or Malinois man if you got to have one?
Oh, I'll go pit over Mal.
Yeah.
You cannot pay me to own no Mally.
Hey, I wanted the miles, man, and I tell every brother do their research on them. I got them from my homeboy, and I love them. But man, I say, boy, I got into something. I ain't knew this was gonna be like this, boy. I'm
Yep.
talking about energy for days. Energy that when you don't want no more energy, it's energy there, and when you don't let them release their energy, they turn to bad habits and all other kind of things. And man,
Yep.
I done bought so many remote controls out the house and shoes that didn't tore up and different holes out there in the ground. And man, listen, the model, but once I got them, I was already loving my dog, so I didn't want to, get rid of them. And I still got mine, the ones I had, I had about 5 years now. But man, if I could do it again, I would do my research a little bit better, and stop looking at the movies and all them shows and all that, and because I could do the same thing with the pits that I could do with the mouths, but you said they like to work, man. They just on that first time.
Yep.
I had a little puppy. I was training, and she was probably about 3 or 4 months old. Probably wasn't even that old. Maybe 2 months and 2.5 months, and I had her sit and stand down and coming between my legs, going to the place, and I'm talking about that dog was super smart, and that was just the first couple months. Middle. Yes. Place. Stop. Yes. Middle. Place. Middle. Middle. Yes. Down. Yes. Place. Yes. Front. Yes. Middle. Yes. Place. Yes. Down. Yes. Down. Yes. Front. Yes. Circle. Yes. Good boy. Circle. Yes. Good boy. But yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you giving me time today, man. And like I said, I'm honored to interview you, brother. I didn't know I was gonna be interviewing the brother that I was watching with the dogs, with the pit bulls on the show. But once I found out, I was even more ready, man. And like I said, man, big salute to you and your crew, the things that y'all doing for this dog game, and the things that y'all showing brothers that, because a lot of brothers just think it's negative stuff when it come to them bulldogs, man. They just think it's negative, 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 and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Them dogs can be, used for a lot of different things. Like when you was at the boneyard, you just, the dogs should have a whole, I feel like it should have a better reputation than what they have. I feel like a lot of the stuff that goes on in the politics and the public and gives the dogs a bad reputation. And then what you spoke on a little while ago, more than one dog being classified as pit bull. When I say pit bull, just a few minutes ago, I was speaking about the broad pit bulls. But most of the time when I say pit bull, I'm speaking about the game dog, and a lot of times the game dog don't really make a good because it's so human friendly, but should I bring it out or should I breed it in?
I mean, if you can, I would do both. I mean, if you can bring it out of one and then get that to be, more of the goal from that breeding, I think you should do that.
How about bull herder? You ever had one of them?
Nah, that's too close to a Malinois for me. No. I like chill dogs. I mean, I'm always gonna need a working dog, but I need a dog that's gonna lay down. I don't have the same energy that I did, 10 years ago when we got in the game. I want a dog like Boot. We can go out run 5 miles, but if I tell him to go lay down, he's finna go lay down. So that's what I'm looking for. I like peace. Them bull herders, them bulldogs, them blockheads, them corsos, bro. They bring out a different side of you. So it's like, I'm getting
Now,
away.
what you think about them presses, man? I got a couple of my subscribers. They got presses, and they doing their little thing with the presses and stuff. What you think about those?
I think we're actually about to go down and work some with oh dang, lost the guy's name. He does a lot of stuff with Trevor in the feeding. He has those presses. So I've worked a couple. They're like a George Foreman. They're a big, heavy hitting dog. But like I said, you can just rope a dope them and then they might gas out. But if you got your dog conditioned, in shape, build their confidence, all of that. Again, if that dog stop moving the damn camera, Rocco. If that dog get a hold of you, you're gonna remember for the rest of your life.
Now I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm always remember this story. One of my guy I know from this side, he got a press from the brother Ronnie Oliver. And it's a smaller kind of press. The press he had he get a lot of them from him, but this particular one was more smaller and it kind of reminded you of a pit bullish. It was like a heavy pit bull, about a 65 pound pit bull, but it was short, and man, when that dog bit me, man, I had to double up. I had to put the suit on. I had to put the sleeve on. I couldn't take it. My arm was too skinny, man. I ain't gonna lie. That dog bit me, man. And it felt like it broke my arm. And then he started grabbing me on my leg, and I had to watch it. What you think about them dirty dogs, far as training wise?
I mean, training wise, it's never fun, but in a real situation, I mean, that's is there anything called a fair fight in real life?
Nah.
So, I mean, training wise, you want to make sure you know where the dog is. But I mean, I have no problem working a dirty dog, especially if the handler tells me it's a dirty dog.
Yeah.
So if you do have a dirty dog and you try to do some work, be honest and tell the decoy.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Now, when it comes to pit bulls, I'm about to get up out of here, brother. I ain't gonna hold you up. I know you got a lot of things to do. When it comes to pit bulls, have you seen a certain line that's kind of better in the protection? If I want to get into protection work, that maybe I can go say, oh, go grab some of these type of dogs, straight pit bulls. Have you seen any?
I mean, I would probably go with Dewan's line. I don't know the exact bloodline. I didn't do a lot of research on it, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I would look at the parents of whatever dog you're getting. Are they doing the work that you want to be done? Are they doing the things that you potentially would want your dog to do? And T'Challa did. He weight climbed, or he weight pulled, he wall climbed, he did obedience, he did the protection side of things. So when Dewan was like, "Hey, I got a puppy," I was like, "Hey, let's do it." And without even knowing the background. But if the parents are doing it, you're going to have more likelihood that your dog's going to do it as well. But there also is no guarantee, because Michael Jordan's son, he's not that good.
Yeah. We were just talking about that a few weeks ago about how production wise
Yeah.
and comparing it to the dogs and stuff. But yeah, man, I appreciate you rocking with me today, man. If any of the brothers and sisters have any questions about anything or anything we talking about, I'll hit you up in your messenger and ask you or anything. Y'all brother, like I said, y'all brothers keep doing what y'all doing, man. I seen the video where you did with the brother David, man.
Yeah.
Is he funny in person like he is on TV?
Bro, he's funnier in person than he is on TV. Like, there's some stuff that obviously we didn't put on that show or
Yeah.
the clip. Nah,
Yeah.
he's hilarious. Like, and he's right on there. He's spot on. I caught him off guard once though. He was like, "Man," I said, "this is 30 pounds." He said, "So I was out here looking like this and nobody said nothing." I said, "Man, I left some comments, but you ignored it." And he paused for a second. He was like, "This nigga here." So, but nah, he was just as funny in person as he was on TV. But I mean, he still handled his business, got it done. And it was pretty cool to see, like, because I used to get to the point where I would have to do maybe one or two takes of something if I didn't like it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
dang, these people were probably just one take. Nah, he had to do a couple of takes. He didn't like it, or he didn't like how he sounded or looked or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's not just me.
Yeah.
These, celebrities, they have to do another take sometimes. So
Make sure they
it was,
right.
yeah, it was pretty good to see. Good dude though.
Yeah. I like that video too, man. But yeah, man, y'all brothers and sisters, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, or if you don't know, Iron Sharp Kennel K9s, man. Iron Sharp K9s is the man to holler at if you need that dog training, or if you need any kind of advice. Holler at Iron Sharp K9s, man. And like I said, brother Stan, big thanks, man. Honored to meet you. Honored to talk to you. Honored to get some knowledge from you about this protection work when it comes to these dogs. I'm gonna try to take the knowledge you give me and slide it to the next brother, and we can make better dog men out here, man. Keep it positive when it comes to this breed, man, because there's just so much negative stuff out here. And anytime I see somebody doing something positive, I want to step out there and holler at them, man, and get their insight on the game, So, man, I appreciate you, man. Anything you want to leave the chat out with before we get up out here?
Yeah, man, if you are getting to this game, just take your time and don't compare your dog to somebody else's dog that you see online. Make the dog that you have be the best dog for you. And you just got to remember, you got to live with that dog at the end of the day. The people online, they can say whatever they want about your dog, but if you enjoy that dog, that's what matters at the end of the day. So I appreciate you having us on here, and we'll have to do another one. This was fun.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. PBK9s, y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal out there. And remember, we all get it first, man. And we out.
For your professional logos, signs, or designs, you've came to the right place. Get customized brands for your business by contacting Michael Smith on Facebook. Michael specializes in creating the highest quality images for t-shirt printing, business cards, posters, and banners. Once again, contact Michael Smith on Instagram and Facebook for your business needs.